Bro, do you even kombucha, bro? What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today. So if you are coming from my old channel, or I shouldn't call it my old channel, my other channel, and you are new to this channel, if you could please just take a minute and subscribe, that'd be super awesome. I'm just hanging out here drinking my green protein smoothie, and it's really delicious. I think I might do a video on what's in it. There's like over 20 grams of protein in this smoothie that I have every day, and I love it. What I wanted to talk about was some mistakes that I made on the raw food diet, and they were kind of early on when I first started eating raw food. The first thing that I struggled with was not eating enough food. So eating raw food is so different than eating regular food in that you're not just eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're increasing your meal size a lot. Sometimes you're doubling it, and sometimes you're doubling the amount of calories that you're eating. And it seems like you can just eat a lot more calories of raw food, and I don't know if that's just because it has a lot more dietary fiber in it, but basically before I was eating, I would say on a standard diet, around maybe 1,500 to 1,700 calories. And then when I started eating raw food, I was able to increase my calories by a few hundred, and I needed to do that just in order to stay satisfied. But I actually found it way easier to maintain a lower weight eating raw food. Some of that has to do with inflammation and salt and things like that, just water weight. But you know, some of it also has to do with the fact that your body just knows what to do with raw food. So an issue I had with not eating enough when I first started eating raw was that I didn't realize how much planning I had to do. Eating a raw food diet might be really intuitive when you're living closer to nature, but when you are, you know, in a big city or even in a rural suburb, sometimes it's really hard and you need to plan a little bit more. So what I learned was that I couldn't just like run out of the house and be out of the house all day long and not bring food with me, because there wasn't really anywhere that I could stop and get food. Sure, I could stop at a grocery store and grab some bananas, but they're not gonna be ripe, and then I'm not gonna be enjoying what I'm eating. So it just started to make a lot more sense that if I wanted to actually enjoy my raw food diet, that I needed to plan ahead. Something else that I did within the realm of not eating enough was I didn't eat enough carbohydrates, and I would say also probably like enough protein. And so I would crave fats, and I'm not saying that this happened all the time, but I would say like the first year or so when I was really just getting started with raw and figuring out what worked for me, I noticed that on days where I just didn't eat enough, I would end up eating like a lot of avocado or a lot of tahini or some sort of dehydrated crackers or something like that. And then I would just end up feeling really tired, and that's just not ideal. Another thing too was also that I just was not eating a ton of variety. And you might think like, oh, you know, I'm eating all these different fruits and vegetables and things like that, and you might be eating more variety in some ways, but then in other ways, if you are not eating any cooked foods or, you know, any sort of like cooked starches or beans, legumes, things like that, then there's certain things that you're just not going to be getting enough of. And because I was just eating a purely raw food diet, I would go through weeks at a time where I was just eating mangoes all day and then like romaine lettuce and tahini in the evening, and just eating those 3 items. I thought, oh, I'm getting everything because I felt really good. But there's kind of a like a honeymoon period with raw food where you've limited the energy, or you've reduced the energy that you're spending on digestion, so you notice that you have a lot more energy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting every nutrient that you need. Another huge mistake that I made when I was eating raw food was thinking that cooked food was like poison. And part of that had to do with the fact that there were a lot of people at that time that were really pushing the 100% raw thing. And I never totally subscribed to it, but I definitely went through phases where I was like eating all raw, and I would, you know, want to eat cooked food, but I always just thought like, oh no, it's not gonna make me feel good. And what I would end up doing is, especially like when Joey and I were dating, we kind of like had this thing where we wouldn't really eat cooked food unless it was like a planned thing, and then we would like go out to a restaurant and we would just order like so much food, like crazy amounts of food, and I would just eat so much that I felt like I was gonna throw up, and like a couple times I did end up throwing up because I ate so much food. Or we would like plan like at our house, like we were like, okay, we're gonna go to Whole Foods and we're gonna buy like every vegan thing that we wanted to eat, and we would just eat so much. And then I associated that disgusting, sick, tired feeling with cooked food, but really that had nothing to do with cooked food. It was the fact that I was, number one, overeating, and number two, I was eating like processed vegan stuff in large quantities. The third thing that I did that was a huge mistake on raw food and just in general when you're changing your diet is trying to push my new diet and my new beliefs onto other people. I remember, I think I was living with my dad at the time, and I was just like always making little comments about what he was eating here and there, or trying to like just use logic and information to convince him to change his diet. And also, yeah, some of my friends just like making people feel bad for eating animal products, and it's just not the most effective way to convince people to do something, first off, of trying to make them feel like they're doing something wrong. And second, you know, just because you have changed your diet recently doesn't mean that it's time for somebody else to change their diet. So I remember when I was in high school, I had a friend who started dating this guy who was a little bit older than her, and he was vegan, and so she wanted to like do what he was doing, and so she decided to go vegan. And I just remember them sending me all of these links to information telling me about how milk has pus in it, and they were making all these vegan cookies, and I'm like, sure, I'll eat your vegan cookies, but like this is total crap. Like, we need animal products for protein, and we're meant to eat animals. So that's just proof right there that just because you have the information doesn't mean that it's time for you, or that it's time for somebody else, just because you want it to be. So that's something that I had to learn to let go of. And then once you do let go of that, you'll realize that people are so much more receptive to what you're doing. And just being an example of health and happiness and excitement about life, I think, is way more enticing and intriguing to people, and they want to know what you're eating, what you're doing, and what your workout plan is, and all that stuff, instead of trying to be aggressive. If you guys are new to raw food, comment below, let me know. If you are just getting started, I would love to hear from you and hear what your experience is. If you're struggling with eating raw food, if you'd like help, then I do offer coaching. So you can go to meganelizabeth.com/coaching. Please make sure that you subscribe to this new channel. I will also be posting videos, like I said, on my other channel, but I will be posting more videos on this channel, and I'm really excited about it. So comment below, let me know what you'd like to see more of. I have some recipe videos on the way soon. Joey and I will be filming some videos, and I've got a lot of good stuff planned for you guys. So I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye! 3 more again.
Yeah, anything with flavor.
Okay, that's all good then. She wanted the grape, the GT is grape, I think. GT is grape flavor. GT. GT is the Tom. GT's, it's like the most popular kombucha company.
I don't know.
You've never bought GT's? Bro, do you even kombucha, bro? Okay. Sorry.